Good day, YouTube viewer. Well, I'm going to continue on in this vein that I started pretty much mostly because my wife. She watches these videos and I just can't ignore this stuff forever. I guess I could, but I'm not going to, so where do I start? This is probably going to be a few videos because I have a lot to say about it, and I don't even know where to begin. Okay, I guess there's black women. Black women. You know, I don't even like the term black women, to be honest with you, if you want to get down to it. I think that kind of categorizes and divides, weakens, lumps into one thing. I mean, when you say black women, what does that mean? Really, we're all individuals. It should be that we are life forms, if you want to get down to it. We're each individual. I mean, think about it. In your own family, even if you have some sisters, you have some brothers, are you all alike? Do you all think alike? Have the same opinion on everything? Have the same wants, needs, desires, dreams? We're all individuals. It doesn't matter what race, what sex, we're all individuals. So, this thing with black women, if we're going to call anything, I would rather call them American women, because they're from Americans. Even calling them American, kind of, there's a division, because then, you know, well, what about German women or anywhere else? What kind of women? Are they lesser or important? But just in this case, for now, American women. Now, these American women are getting a lot of grief from certain people on YouTube, and one of the things is and again, I'll probably be doing a lot because I have a lot of ground to cover. But one of the things I've noticed is they get grief for being accused of trying to be like other American women, dyeing their hair blonde, wearing contacts, speaking a certain way, whatever. This one group of women is being accused of trying to be like another group of women, or, you know, one category of women is trying to look like another. And I really don't agree with that, personally. I mean, it could be true, but I personally disagree. What I think it is women expressing their freedom. They're breaking the restrictions. They're walking through the door that's been opened that they were afraid to walk through before, perhaps. There was a lot of hate and fear. This is also this so-called interracial dating. I think that's also kind of an expression of freedom. Some American women started dating some American men that they didn't used to, and I think a further extension of this now is that some American women are looking at dating Asian men. I don't like categorizing, but I'm just so that my points will be understood. And I think that's more, again, an expression of freedom. It's like, well, I can do that if I want. Those guys are kind of cute. Why can't I? Expression of freedom. Now, I think that this is upsetting to some other life forms of a particular gender because they're losing control. Some individuals are losing control that they think that they should have over other individuals. So that's upsetting. But the thing is, folks, we're living in a revolutionary age. There's never been anything like this. This is an age of information. Look at the history that's being made in the Middle East. If you haven't been following, the governments, the people are rising up against oppressive governments in Africa, of all places. Tunisia, the government has been overthrown. Egypt, right now in Libya. So, in the old days, that probably wouldn't have happened, but they're seeing, because of all this freedom of information through the internet, the World Wide Web, this information is being disseminated. One of the responses to these from these dictators and regimes was to shut down the internet because all this information is flowing around. The people now from one country can see what's going on in another country. They're exchanging notes, and so the thing with these certain American women who are now expressing their freedom, I think the internet also had something to do with that. Personally, that's just my opinion. There's another part of now, I'm an individual, a certain type of individual, as you can tell, but I think, and some people, some men and women think that I don't have a valid opinion. I don't understand their experience enough to have a valid opinion on it, but I disagree. I have a valid opinion. I'm viewing from wherever I'm viewing and experiencing it and sensing what's going on. I may not know everything, but I still have an opinion. And in fact, I think that it's needed to have more than just your opinion on what's going on in your community. It's good to have outside opinions. Sometimes an outside opinion can see better or have a different solution than what's going on inside. And in fact, I think it's necessary because, like with this, some things that have happened in the past, like Don Imus. I don't know if you're familiar with Don Imus. When something happens to the so-called black community, something bad happens, I think the so-called white community should be a sign of unity would be for them to be, for the so-called white community and so-called white people. It's interesting how I'm using the black Israelite term, or I think some of them use that, so-called. But I think that the so-called white people should be among the first to be upset. They should be the ones complaining about mistreatment to the American citizens, whoever they are, in particular, because this particular community of Americans has been discriminated against and oppressed. There's a history of that, so that enlightened Americans from a community that has not been discriminated should be the ones that take the lead. It shouldn't be, Jesse Jackson and Reverend Al Sharpton and other. It should be prominent voices from the American community that isn't from that community, the discriminated against community. That would show some unity to me, in my opinion. So when that day comes, when there's a problem, when there's discrimination, it's not the radio executives responding only later when there's some outcry from the discriminated against community. There's an organization called PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment Against Animals, which I find, I have ambivalent thoughts about that, but the thing I find striking is that here's an organization that wants an ethical treatment for animals, but yet there's a segment of American human beings that nobody's fighting for them. The women of a certain community of American women are being given grief and talked bad to and about, and they have no advocates. There's a group for animals, but not for American women. I don't know. I think that what's going on here is, it's when I'm watching this, it's very upsetting to me to see this, that there's nobody. They take a lot, these American women from this certain community. They take a lot of abuse, and it's like accepted. It's acceptable to do it. So I don't think it should be acceptable. Anyway, I got some more ground I wanted to cover. I'll do that in another video, so this doesn't take too long. But let me know what you think, if you have an opinion you'd like to express. And until the next one, peace.